Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to the Japanese Phantom. This is a top tier jet, which is something you don't see me running very often. But as usual, I am absolutely impressed with the beauty of Japanese paint jobs on their aircraft. They really have some gorgeous markings. I'm rocking a marketplace skin that I got for... No, this isn't a marketplace skin. This is a Live War Thunder skin. And I'll try to remember to put a link in the description of this video for you all. It really is a nice one. So, what am I doing here at top tier where I don't belong? Well, I've grown a little bit recently in War Thunder, and I've tried out playing some top tier stuff, and it's not quite as terrible an experience as I thought it would be, but for a while it really was unmanageable, and that's because I wasn't managing my expectations properly. So I guess I'll talk about that right away. I'm used to doing fairly well in matches, and I'm also used to seeing my death coming a little bit earlier, but everything just happens so fast in top tier, whether it's jets or especially in ground battles. It seems like you're already dead before you find out what it is that was threatening you most of the time. And that sort of gets on my nerves, you know what I'm saying? Like, it gets me a little too amped up, waiting for when the hammer's gonna drop, and that's not good for my little rabbit heart. So I had to change my expectations. I had to learn to relax and just enjoy doing very poorly, but making progress nonetheless. Now, I'm always committed to improving, which is one of the reasons that even with a starfighter on our tail, we're not going to completely give up. Now, I suspect he can't pull quite as hard in a rolling scissors, so that's what we're doing. Just trying to maintain a little bit of our energy while getting him into a turning engagement, and he actually turns surprisingly well for the amount of speed he was coming in with. Now, if I had a missile, I could take him down, but instead we spray with a cannon that I absolutely don't know how to use, and I'm trying very careful here and not shoot down my teammates, because that wouldn't be very sportsmanlike of me. After all, they did just come in to save my butt as my entire team dogpiled on that poor bastard. But that's sort of the way of top tier. The first person to turn their front toward the wall ends up receiving the soap from everybody in the area on your team. But well, I was just playing around with bombing in the Phantom. You may have noticed I did quite a bit of that in World War mode, and that is the perfect environment to feel like a god of War Thunder if you have access to the top tier vehicles, while everybody else is rocking 8.7s. Yeah, it's hardly fair now, isn't it? Oh, 8.7 or lower, I should say. I think the default SPAA for the USSR was the 57.2. Jeez Louise. But I digress. We're playing around in the Phantom today. We're not trying to go hard and do well. I'm not even trying to learn the jet fighter meta, which seems to be play the MiG-21 or do very well in something that has very good missiles, and you still have to play a lot more tactically and cautiously than you do in any other aspect of War Thunder air battles up until this point, just because of how quickly people can build an advantage over you if you're foolish enough to do something like maneuvering. And then of course the gap between aircraft that can maneuver and aircraft that cannot engage in sustained maneuvers, i.e. the Phantom, which, as you saw, can pull nice and hard, but drains a lot of speed doing so. And even though it does pick up energy fairly quickly, again, your competition really picks up speed fast, and they will be on you from 10 clicks away to in your face with a guided missile in no time. Enemy F-100 decides to play a little bit of footsie, and I don't feel like letting him onto my tail, so I give him a little spray of the good news. Now that we're refueled and rearmed, it's time to re-engage with the bombing. And again, we're not trying to do our best here. We're just playing around. Flying at low altitude at very high speed is a lot of fun, and you do have to keep it under Mach if you're going to be able to actually drop the bombs. So if you break that cone of displacement, the cone of third-person view annihilation, it breaking the sound barrier, you're gonna have to come off the booster or the afterburner, or hit the air brake for a little bit to dump some speed to where you can do some bombing. And speaking of, if the enemy aircraft would kindly remove themselves from my presence, I'm using the what is this? It's not the CCIP, it's like CCRP, something like that. It's an automatic release point, and you line yourself up with that post in your UI after selecting a target, which I'm not really going to get into how to do that. There's a couple of settings for picking a target. You can pick from a list, i.e. enemy bases and airfield, or you can manually select a target to set up for the CCRP. What that does is you hold down the bomb release button after selecting a target, and your ballistic computer will automatically release the bombs when you get into position to release them. What that means is you can set it up to release automatically in a dive or in a steep climb as well. So you can hold down the drop bomb if you want to drop a single bomb, or drop bomb series if you'd like to level the field or take down a base all the way down, and the computer will release when the time is right. You saw the little bubble on that post. That is your target area, and because it's constantly computed based upon your speed, bearing, and altitude, that bubble will move based on your actions if you're not flying in a constant heading and speed. And there's a little cross post that shows roughly how close you are to your destination. It starts to close with the bubble and then crosses it when it's time for the computer to release the bombs. And then of course you want to make sure that you're not maneuvering when you get to that point, and that you're holding down the bomb release button. It's a weird feeling to hold down that bomb release button and have the computer take control, but maybe oh right, what's happening now? We're completely out of fuel. You see, there's this weird bug with the Phantom, at least the Japanese one right now, that every now and then when I fiddle with my loadout, it drops me down to minimum fuel. Now, I was running 20 minutes of fuel in the last match, and that's enough to afterburn for under 10 minutes, because this thing does chew through the fuel. But we're about to make a new friend, and that brings me to the next major point of my video, and that is that not only is it important to manage your expectations and just put yourself in a mindset to enjoy what you're doing in War Thunder instead of expecting more than you're getting. Sure, go for the best, but just calm down, because you're going to enjoy life more if you're not stressed out all the time, because stress actually makes you stupid. So fear and anger are two emotions that cause stress, and both of those emotions make you dumber. So you're not going to learn as well, and you're not going to enjoy life if you get all hyped up all the time. You gotta convince yourself to relax. And also, you get little moments like this, where an enemy pilot sees that I've run out of fuel, and he just decides to come say hi. And instead of spraying me on the ground the way I would have done if I was trying hard, nope, this Mirage is going to come in and perform a fantastic field landing. He's also running out of fuel, by the way, and I think I actually shut off my engine before I was all the way out of fuel via the ignition button, and that's why I'm not technically dead right now, and this guy is just about, there we go, counted as dead by the servers. There were also some server issues today, so maybe I was actually dead and I just didn't know it. The afterlife, I tell you, it's a lot jankier than I thought it would be. What's up with all this Soviet era janky code I see around here? But I was talking about, as we just enjoy each other's company here in War Thunder, making friends is so much more valuable than making progress in the game. So if you've got a chance to be friendly, to have a nice attitude, to be outgoing, and even to do something like compliment somebody on the look of their aircraft, that's something that I really like to do lately, is if I see a cool decal combination on somebody's tank or aircraft, or if they're rocking an especially beautiful camouflage, I'll be like, wow, that's gorgeous. And you didn't see my previous match in the FJ4B VMF Bullpup Boy, but I just unlocked the IR missiles and I was flying out to see how they do. The FJ4B is just a worse saber, so it's fantastic in terms of what it can do in mixed battles. But as far as ARB goes, you're probably better off using a saber in just about every single way. It is nice that it gets missiles, though. It's not terrible. That guy crashed before I could hit him with the IR. That's you know what? Fair enough. You do you, bud. Maybe bring enough bombs to actually kill a base next time. He's trying hard. You see, he's not loving life. He's not finding new friends. He's slamming into the ground. But you know what? You do you, bud. Whatever you decide. This is a free country over here, even if it's not a free country over there. And it's nice to see people having a little bit of liberty these days. But what was I saying? Right, so you didn't see the last match where I met this guy that has a gorgeous what's it, G55? No, not G55, the G91. There we go. He's in green today because he ended up being paired with me as my auto squad mate. So, hooray, he has a gorgeous G91 camouflage that I've considered picking up. I think it's a market skin, or maybe it's one of the 200 GE ones. I'm not quite sure, but it's beautiful. And if I do, probably when I do get around to playing the Italian G91, I'll probably pick up that camo. It's very nice. And we're just gonna putz around a little bit here. I really don't have a feel for high tier jets. This is not top tier anymore, but it kind of still feels like it's just like a slower version of top tier. And missiles really matter in this mode, apparently. And I used to be pretty good with them with wrpl, the kosher one, but not so much anymore. And the wrpl is such a... It's in a really tough place in War Thunder right now, and everything outmaneuvers it, and you can't dodge missiles worth a hill of beans, and everybody targets you because you're a big fat bully. So, it just is what it is. I think it's gonna sort of suffer the fate of the mouse and just be in a position where it can't really do well in the meta, but it can still do stuff every now and then. That's sort of a off the main topic. It was nice getting a missile hit that far away, by the way. He was about, 4.5 kilometers above me, and he thought that energy advantage would be enough, but you gotta keep that airspeed going in jets, or things like getting pegged by an IR missile from 4 kilometers away. It's gonna happen to you more often than you'd like. And what's not gonna happen quite so much is people getting hit by my guns. I still have trash aim, but the old spray and pray still comes in for me every now and then. And the FJ-4B does have some decent guns. That's one thing you can say about the aircraft. It doesn't recover or retain energy the way that a Sabre does. You do have about the same top speed, and your performance is good on the deck, so it just basically plays like a worse Sabre in AirRB, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It does have a reasonably low battle rating, considering the compression at jet tier from start to finish. But, well, that's starting to get into territory I'm not really familiar with, but maybe. I played a little bit of our tour today as well. It's still a turd. I've confirmed that the Starfighter moving up in BR did not actually save the Vautour from being a victim, but that's okay. It is what it is. It's not really my cup of tea anyway, or my cup of Turkish brewed coffee, as it were. The coffee in Israel is both very strong, and I mean, I don't want to say that it's a disgusting way of brewing coffee. Basically, it's a disgusting way of brewing coffee. Let's just be honest here, because you end up with a lot of coffee grounds in the brew, and I think people just tend to gut them. So that's a thing. I guess you're sort of composting your excrement already, but that's maybe a topic for another conversation. I really want to get back to Israel, though. I've been once in my life, and it was magical. But what was I saying? Looking for chances to just make positive connections with people in War Thunder. It is. You know, I do this all the time. I'll have very negative emotions running through my body when I'm playing this game sometimes, and I need to cut that out, because I can just decide to do a few things that'll calm me down and get me back to being positive. And there's really nothing even close to as valuable as the people that are playing this game. Progress doesn't matter as much as people, and this game is gonna die out, and it's gonna be replaced by something better one day or another. And you know what? That thing is gonna die out as well. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna come a day where nobody's playing video games anymore. Well, I don't know. Maybe the Lord can cure me of that one in heaven. But people are still going to be around, believe it or not. And you know what? The real treasure is the friends you made along the way. Yeah, I know, it sounds pretty stupid, but it's really true. And that's one of the reasons that I run this channel, by the way. Welcome. And it just gives me an opportunity to be inclusive with people, to offer friendship before they even asked. So link in the description of this video to my Discord. It's the best place to get a hold of me. And yeah, it's a place for friends. In fact, amazing friends and mentors. AmFam Squadron is always recruiting because we're a tiny squadron and we don't really do anything. Our goal is just to be the kindest squadron in War Thunder. Okay, now that I've folded in my social media stuff, and that is all my social media stuff, I mean, I don't really do anything on Facebook anymore except post pictures of the kids, which, by the way, freaking adorable. But my buddy in the beautiful G91 has lost a landing gear, and you may be aware of the fact that very few planes in this game can successfully belly land and then repair. The ME-262 being a very tasty exception, along with the Kika, which is just one of the best aircraft in the game as far as being enjoyable and delightful. And in a show of support, and having nothing at all to do with the fact that we've run through most of our ordnance, I'm going to go ahead and land along with my new friend here. What's his name? Oh, I can't tell. I got names turned off, and I can't read his little name in the description there. But we're going to go say hi. How you doing, bud? It really was a gorgeous aircraft. It's too bad that Papa Snail decided that belly landing would not be a thing, as yes, half of his aircraft is just clipping through the universe, because that happens when you belly land most planes in this game. And anyway, we're here to protect, to just join him in his experience. And I mean, that does it for this episode. I didn't show you guys any high-paced action, but I just wanted to share some of the things that I've been thinking about today, and I ended up throwing in a little bit more BS about the vehicles that I've been playing the way that I usually do. And I hope you got something out of that. And I really want you to know that it really is true that there's nothing as valuable as people. And there's nothing about you, and there's nothing you could ever do that changes that. That's just the way I see things. And that's the way it is. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.